Hi and welcome. My channel, Ricefield Records. What is it? Seems to be a lot about records, and it's more about record stores these days. The first time I went into a Japanese record store, I was hooked, and I've been hooked ever since. When I saw the organization, when I saw the attention to detail, when I saw the volume of product here. I was just hooked and fascinated. And I've just wanted to tell that story ever since. And I've made a lot of videos about record stores. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm not fluent in Japanese. I speak enough and I can read enough to get by. I'm certainly not intellectual, but through this hobby, my Japanese has improved. And I never really had a love for outreach as record collecting and having a YouTube channel about vinyl and about radio and about record stores has made me. So in that sense, I'm really grateful to record collecting and the record stores. It's forced me to go into a store and make a pitch. I've got to do that with a record store owner, probably doesn't speak a stitch of English. And even if they do, they're uncomfortable about speaking English. That's very key in Japan. Japanese study English at an early age. They don't have the opportunity to use it. So back to the pitching. I mean, I'll just go in and I'll do the best I can. And I know enough Japanese and I can gesture enough. And my intent is serious and I'm passionate. I'm genuinely interested. And what I do is after I make the video, I send the record owner a link to the video and I let them look it over before I make it go live. I let the store do the talking. In fact, a lot of my videos, there's no voiceover. I do that with the purpose of communicating not only to people who speak English, but also Japanese people and people outside of Japan who may not speak English. I'm going to be doing more interviews this year. I'm very proud of the one that I just did on Meccano at Nakano Broadway, and I'm really proud of the video that I just did on Substore with the owner Andy, who is from Indonesia. That was really interesting for me to do, talking to him about being a foreigner starting a business in Japan. So I want to do more of that. So let me just give you a little bit of background about this. I mean, how I dove into this. I mean, there's 880 record stores in Japan, according to Rekoya, which is an online database. And he's a really nice guy. I've made friends with him, and he. I made a video about this. He's looking for people to dig and report back to the site, take photos, and give reviews. So it's really very much an everyman's directory about record stores. And Rekoya took its cue from this publication, Record Map. I don't know if they're going to publish this anymore, but this is a map. This is an all Japan book, and it goes like, for example, here's a map of Shinjuku, and there's write-ups of each store. And I think the record stores they wrote their own write-ups, and but it's an analog book, so I don't really carry this. I did when I first got started. I carried this everywhere. I got dog-eared. So Michael, you're in Japan, going to all these record stores. Why should I care? Right? You're looking at this, you're going, why should I care? What is it going to do for me? Well, okay. The dollar is pretty strong against the yen right now. It's 158 yen to the dollar as I record this video. And it could change even more in Westerners' favor. It could or it couldn't. So if you're a record hunter, and let me make this real clear, Japan is an ocean of vinyl, and it's an ocean of Japanese pressings with the OB and Western pressings, right? Western pressings, because for time immemorial, Japanese record stores flew to the United States. They bought records, They went to the UK, they bought records, and they brought them back here to create inventory for their stores. And Japanese, by the nature of Japanese people and also the economy, they're very careful with their things, especially Western pressings, because they're cherished. There's an old adage that it's hard to find Japanese records with the OB because in the 60s and the 70s, young kids would rip those paper OBs off because they wanted the records to look more Western. I've heard this from many people. So there's a love affair with the West. So don't think Japan is just Japanese pressings. It is not. It is not. I mean, if there's a rare record that you're looking for, and you've really done your research and you've looked in countries other than your own, I invite you to investigate Japan as a source for your long sought after record. And I want to give you some examples of why I think they're here. Disc Union, which is the largest chain in Tokyo, is an amazing record store, and it is a suite of stores. And if you come to Tokyo and you have one day to record shop or a couple of days to record shop, I will tell you to go one place: Shinjuku. I've made videos about this. It is a group of stores, all in close proximity to one another, and they specialize. They have 4 sites, 4 locations in Shinjuku, and that's Disc Union alone. Where in one store they have 8 floors: Japanese pop, progressive rock, Latin, Brazil, reggae, and world music on one floor, 60s to 70s rock, 80s rock, alternative new wave, punk and hardcore. And these are, they're not big floors, but the specialness of them, the concentration of the genres and the selection of artists is going to blow your minds. Will absolutely blow your minds. It's nothing like you've seen before. And I never saw that in the United States when I was living there. I mean, in San Francisco, Amoeba Records, yes, it's a great store. It's awesome. But I mean, in Shinjuku alone, it's an amoeba to the 10th power in terms of having multiple disc unions, HMV out of the UK, Tower Records, and like 13 independent stores, all of which are they have to compete with Disc Union, and they are specialty like you would not believe. Stores like Shame Records for soul and funk, and Vinyl for UK punk and post-punk and new wave. These are just unbelievable caches of vinyl. So back to Disc Union. Disc Union publishes these publications, these magazines, these want lists. They will pay top dollar, and they're looking for really specific things, like the mono version of Derek and the Dominoes has a Western copy. They will pay up to 300,000 yen, divide by 158 to get the U.S. amount. Or Jefferson Airplane takes off. I mean, look at this. If you're a record collector and you're trying to sell this record, this is the place to come to. Put them in a suitcase, come here, make some cash. Non-declarable, unless you make over $10,000. But still, you see the opportunity for liquidity for your records in Japan. So that's something that I think is going to happen as time moves on. I'm sure a lot of people think about that. I mean, Japan still goes outward. Here is a tour being organized by the Wangang Record Fair people to take a group of people to Den Bosch in 2025. So Japanese are still looking outside of their own country for records. So you can see the hunger and you can see the interest. So that's it. Michael Ricefield Records. Thank you for landing here. And that's my pitch. Record stores. I hope you like them. Bye-bye.